Well, anyway, let me back up one, so I'll just finish out. I didn't get out of the Air Force, and I did my last 5 years in the F-117, which is really a pretty good airplane as an airline lead-in.
What's the F-117?
That's the stealth fighter. The little black triangle.
Whoa.
So
wait a minute. So you did that alien-looking thing?
That one. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know I'm sitting talking with someone who flew that.
I thought I put that on
You did, but I did not know that was that. You should have... If you want to speak my language, you should say I flew the black triangle, not the F-117.
Yeah, Darth Vader's helmet.
Holy cow.
I did that my last 5 years. And then you fly it with the autopilot. I mean, you could hand fly it, but
is it
for most
horrible,
of the mission...
not stable?
Oh, no. I mean, it's full fly-by-wire. So in theory, you can't fly it manually. But we don't even have a manual way to fly it because all the inputs are you move the controls... and then it creates a vote to the flight controls, and a computer guides it. So, they built it to handle like any other A-10, F-15, F-16, roll rate, pitch rate. So you could get in it if you've flown one of those and fly it. It feels that way. So the computer moves everything, probably like an Airbus does, but I don't fly the Airbus.
Right. Whoa, so how different? What plane did you fly before the F-117?
I flew A-10s. I flew the A-10 in the Gulf War.
So how, from a pilot standpoint, how big of an adjustment in terms of aerodynamics or just flying an airplane is it to go from that to that crazy-looking thing?
Well, as you know this, so you got compartments in your brain for all your aviation stuff.
Uh-huh.
And things like takeoff, landing, en route, planning. So you just adjust all those numbers and parameters. So the A-10, I think we rotated around, 140 knots and flew. The F-117, you didn't rotate to 190.
Wow.
It didn't have flaps. So, and it was really kind of underpowered. It had two GE 404 engines, but without the afterburner. Same engine as the F-18, and then they modified the tail to spread out the heat source so that it would be less vulnerable to detection by infrared. So they spread out the exhaust, and that's where the thrust came out. But they reduced it. That takes it from, I think, a 10,500-pound thrust engine to a 8,900.
Why would they reduce the power? That thing seems
They didn't reduce the power. They just modified how the exhaust came out,
and it reduced
and that reduced the power.
But why did no afterburners?
Heat signature and the way you would have to construct the burner cans would reduce the stealth. Because a stealth fighter.
It's all about stealth.
So it was all about the stealth, and we'll make this thing fly anyway.
So, as someone who's flown it and knows probably more about it than most anyone else, what was the number one goal with that airplane? It wasn't power, it was stealthness.
Yeah,
that was probably it.
It was the two features the airplane had were, we didn't call them stealth, we called them low observable. So you could still detect the airplane in certain azimuths and conditions, but it was very hard to detect. And if you had other airplanes flying around you that were easier to detect, the operator of any kind of radar would see those and not notice or not be adjusted to notice the F-117. So it could penetrate airspace undetected where other airplanes couldn't. So low observable, that was one feature. And then accuracy, precision. So we could guide a laser-guided bomb within a meter. So your little office here, we could hit this spot. Put a 500-pound to 2,000-pound bomb in the 20s to 30s, 1,000 feet. So we could fly over this at night, see this building, pick out this part of the building, and put a weapon here.
Whoa. So you're saying the low observability of it and the ability to do what you just described were the top two things that plane was developed to do.
Exactly.
I gotcha. And then all the rest was just okay. It's power and things like that. It was just like whatever.
It wasn't built to evade missiles. It was built to not even have them shot at them, to penetrate the airspace and leave undetected. Now, the thing is, after you've dropped a weapon, they know somebody was there. So then the goal was to leave their airspace without being shot at.
And I never thought of that. So the toughest part of a mission would be not penetrating the airspace, but leaving after you drop the bomb, because now you're made yourself known.
They know you were there. Yeah, and we usually employed that as a package of airplanes. So not just one. We'd have multiple airplanes from different directions, and we called it a simultaneous attack. We would drop all our weapons at the same time, so they'd have their biggest problem, And so airspace-wise, we had to have all these airplanes over the same target area, maybe a city, maybe a factory complex, all there at the same time, and no airplanes hitting each other, no bombs hitting each other, and no bombs hitting airplanes.
Whoa.
So we had computer programs to deconflict all of that, and then we could then all egress at the same time. And some of the bombs might be going after the air defense systems.
Right.
So that would make our problem of leaving less.
Incredible. So, how much attention did you guys get when you land that thing someplace?
Well, I went to the Point Mugu Air Show, and it was kind of a low weather day, so I wasn't going to do any loops because we didn't loop that thing. And I just zorched around the pattern for a little while, and nobody else, all the other air show acts were canceled, so I was it. I land and scoot off I didn't have a ladder, so I just scooted off the edge and went and shook hands in the crowd.
God.
So, yeah, it got a lot of attention.
People think you're like an alien in that
exactly. They would cordon it off because we wouldn't let people touch it because we didn't want them damaging it, but also the material on the surface is a radar-absorbent material. And it was built by Lockheed Martin. They produced the stuff. It was interesting to when the factory got a tour, and they make it. Ever seen like fruit roll-ups?
No.
You never had a fruit roll-up? I guess those have gone out of vogue.
Like the candy?
Well, it's like on cellophane. You take a mash of apples, say, and spread it out. It's kind of like a thin gelatin. Then you roll it up, and then you can peel it off and eat it. Okay, so that's a fruit roll-up. That's what the radar-absorbent material looks like when they make it.
Whoa.
So they mix it in a vat. It's got, the secret sauce in there I'm not going to talk about. Then they spread it out real thin, and then they squeegee it to get the exact thickness. But the edges all look kind of curvy and wavy. And then they would cut it to specific size. They'd square it off, and then now you have this material that you can glue to the airplanes are made out of aircraft aluminum. It's still a metal airplane.
Right.
And but then you would glue this to the side, and so certain wavelengths of radar would be absorbed by the skin, and other parts of it would be reflected off due to that. Remember how angular it was?
Right.
The goal was that the radar energy would go off in a different direction than back at the source.
Right. So it's not I shoot it and it comes back. Interesting. So some of it would be absorbed?
Some's absorbed and some's bounced off in a different direction.
Yeah. To evade the radar. Fascinating. That's incredible. I'm trying to picture you in that plane. I did not put the one-on-one together. That's how much I know about.
Yeah, I didn't realize you didn't know that. But not what you would call a pilot's plane.
Right.
It's like this isn't an extra 300 that we're going to put through the ringer. It has a mission, and we're putting up with all the other features of this plane that are really kind of crappy. High takeoff speed, low thrust, poor single engine handling characteristics. But once you got it going fast, because we'd fly 0.78 to 0.85 Mach.
No speed of sound.
No, it was subsonic.
Got it.
But, we'd fly it relatively fast and deliver weapons from it. Doors open, bomb comes out, doors close, and then make a turn, go in a different direction for a while, and then another turn, and then evade. So that's what it was good at.
I love it.
As long as you kept your speed up, you didn't get slow and high, it wouldn't fall out of the sky.
That's awesome. Yeah, because that thing looks like it shouldn't be flying. So
no. Now they got the F-22 and the F-35, much prettier. I think it looked better on a poster.
Smaller.
People ask me, was the F-117 a good asset? I go, well, yeah, it was a great asset. And we kept improving it the whole time. It lasted over 25 years. It served the Air Force. But, better technology comes along. And then, of course, you want to keep your aircraft manufacturers in business, so you got to let them build new planes once in a while.
Yeah. Did you ever ask yourself how many alien spaceships reporting have I been responsible for in my life?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's funny. I really hadn't thought about that.
Think about it.
Every once in a while, I'm sure.
Yeah, someone sees you flying overhead and they give them a call. They say, listen, I want to report some aliens. Yeah. That's crazy. That's Glenn flying up there.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one before, really. People
awesome.
got used to it, I think, especially I flew out of Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico.
Got it.
So everybody was used to seeing the plane, yeah.
I guess in the area. I love it.